Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the critically acclaimed Pop the Trunk podcast, now Patreon exclusively sponsored Hall of Fame, Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. With me, of course, as your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trio, The Rant God, Hotep Thanos, Metro Kaiba, the pro-black prodigy, all of the above on that ISAT test and ACT. You know what it is. Here to bring you all another rant. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be very politics heavy yet again. But I have been so disturbed and so put off by the amount of buck dancing I have been witnessing from the black community over this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, people are celebrating as if we have a black president, a black vice president, the entire House and Senate is made up of black people. People are celebrating this minor victory. First off, it's not even a victory, it's actually an L. And the amount of black people celebrating it specifically this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, this entire time, let's just keep it all the way funky. Trump wins this election easily if COVID never happens. Now, if COVID was created by China, who Joe Biden is clearly compromised by, then it's clear why it was unleashed now and not later. If you don't know, there are rumors that suggest that this was initially supposed to be released in a couple of years and it was supposed to be called COVID 21, but they rushed it out because they needed Trump out. Now, I don't necessarily believe these rumors 100%. I need something to substantiate a lot of these rumors, and I'm not someone that just goes off of gossip. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, there is a coup d'etat at play here. Clearly, if you have a mind of your own, if you're not a bot, if you're not a puppet, you understand simple mathematics. You understand how to read votes. And it just doesn't make any sense the way this election went down. Now, here's the thing. If the recount happens and if Biden is proven as the winner, hey, he's my president, he's your president, he's our president. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we have an American right, a constitutional right to question how these things went down. And for the left to spend the last 4 years shitting on another side based off of a premise that they believe they were robbed by a vote, only to then act like when this vote is clearly more questionable than the one 4 years prior, now all of a sudden they want people to just take the L and lose. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Carrey is on Saturday Night Live throwing up devil horns. This is serious. We're on the precipice of a new world regime, ladies and gentlemen. Understand that NWO shit was hot in wrestling, but that shit was also planting a seed. It was desensitizing us to that specific acronym to believe it was not that serious to our own significance on this planet, ladies and gentlemen. This is a lot more serious than a lot of people want to play it as, and that's because a lot of people are stupid. But ladies and gentlemen, you have invested in the RBR brand because you want me to make sure no one is safe from criticism, ladies and gentlemen. So what I decided to do, I put together a certain collage of videos, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to run through each video one by one, and I want to put you all on game with the type of information, let's just be honest, the government is not going to put you on game with. They're just not. I found the majority of all this information by just going through Twitter earlier today, ladies and gentlemen. So let me start off everything I'm going to say with that. But before we get into more detail, I just want to link these two videos up before I play one of them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
You know, Kamala Harris, she's running for the vice presidency. I call her Miss Lock Up a Brother, for when she was the AG in California, a Negro knew, a black man knew that he was dead in the water. He was dead in the water. Matter of fact, you don't need a trial. You might as well go into jail if you appear before her, because she took pride in locking up black folk. And now all of a sudden she's trying to be sister girl. I'm telling it. Check out her record. She locked us up left and right. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, you did, Kamala. However I should pronounce it, you did. And now we're supposed to forget all that stuff. And she boasted in California that she was one of the first. I got the tape queued, but my time's up today. One of the first I showed you Thursday night to perform a same-sex marriage. Y'all want to see it? You want to see it? Let it rip.
Let the rings exchanged and the vows declared symbolize your commitment, sincerity, and affection. And may your love never falter.
May your love never falter.
By virtue of the power and authority vested in me by the state of California, I now declare you spouses for life.
Cut. Now that
Exactly.
is who's supposed to deliver us. Now, are you crazy? I like what Maya Angelou says. She said, when the people show you who they are, believe them. That's Kamala. And let me tell you, anybody who's trying to turn America into Sodom and Gomorrah is not good for this nation. She's not good for the state, and she ain't good for black folk. We need husbands and wives. We need fathers. We need mothers. Men born male, women born female. We need...
Wait till the video ends. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we have more pastors like that in the black neighborhood that keeps it all the way a buck? I'm not talking about the pastors in damn near every other neighborhood riding in a Benz or a Rolls Royce, using all the tithes given to them each week to essentially prop up their own luxurious lifestyle. You know, pastors like this brother right here, they don't give enough credit, ladies and gentlemen. They don't get enough credit because what he said there, I mean, let's unpack this. Number one, I've been one of the main people talking about how if you're LGBT, there is no way you're 100% pro-black. There's no way. Mathematically, it's impossible. It's improbable. It's just not going to happen. And that's because at the end of the day, you can only focus your attention on a certain amount of things at a certain amount of time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are human. For someone to expect us to believe they can 100% fight for gay rights and black rights simultaneously is for that person to believe that they're better than you already, because the normal person can't focus on two different movements at once. They just can't, unless they're trying to mislead one of them and really trying to promote the other. And see, when we get deeper into this video, I'm going to bring up several receipts of Joe Biden going out of his way to shit on gay people. Now, all of a sudden, him and Kamala, they are being pushed by Black Lives Matter, which is an organization ran by gay people. Kamala, I'm going to bring up the video clip next of her specifically said she would do nothing specifically for black people, but here she is taking pride in the fact that she helped a gay white lesbian couple get married. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't make this up. Hold on, I believe this is the video right here. Yep, this is the video. Okay, I found the video, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue. I mean, we finna go in. We finna go in tonight. This chick's crazy.
Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Black folks, what are we doing celebrating this? Oh, I'm seeing people talk about, I have a relative who just wanted to see a woman at some point in time become vice president or president. Oh, so more symbolic victories that mean absolutely nothing. You're absolutely falling for the liberal narrative that women get nothing in this country. At the end of the day, don't you find it a bit bizarre that a white woman wasn't made vice president before another woman of color? Why was a white man always chosen before any other race of man for any other office in history, but now all of a sudden a non-white woman could be the first ever female vice president? Ladies and gentlemen, that's all trick bag nonsense. At the end of the day, Joe Biden knew that this chick, Kamala the Chameleon, was one of the most anti black, look like black women that he could possibly pick. She served two purposes. She could get the black woman vote, because black women don't think, they're just emotional. So they rode on emotion, believing Kamala was one of them. Kamala will do nothing for them specifically. The Griot is one of the most moist media publications, by the way, the Griot. I mean, all they do is shit on straight black men left and right. So for them to interview her and give her no pushback after she says she wouldn't do nothing for black people, it once again is the problem with our community. Black women do not fight as hard for the community as a whole as they do for black women itself, as they do for gay men. To be honest with you, black women will fight super hard. And I'm not talking about all black women. I'm just speaking in general here. When it comes to politics, black women will go to hell and high water for a gay motherfucker or another woman. But when it comes to a straight black man, we do not get that same type of support here. But this is the main person everyone is celebrating the election over. This woman, who isn't black, whose father, if you look at his picture, isn't black. Okay? You know, people tell me Josh Martinez can't possibly be black because of how his parents look. Kamala Harris's parents look absolutely non-black. At least you could say Josh's mom looks black, right? When it comes to Kamala Harris' parents, they don't look black at all. But once again, she somehow gets to pass that paper bag test simply because she's borderline attractive and she slept her way to the top. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into some more stuff because I'm going to hit y'all over the head with just rapid fire of information, and I'm going to try my best as we move along to essentially give my takes on each video as we continue. Now, give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I have to line up these videos that way I can hear it back while you all hear it. It's important. That way I know exactly what points.
I'm a lifelong Democrat, too. You may be wondering, why is a lifelong Democrat speaking at the Republican National Convention? And that's a fair question. And here's your answer. The Democratic Party does not want black people to leave their mental plantation. We've been forced to be there for decades and generations. But I have news for Joe Biden. We are free. We are free people with free minds. And I'm part of a large and growing segment of the black community who are independent thinkers, and we believe that Donald Trump is the president that America needs to lead us forward. This is no time for sleeping in the basement. Joe Biden has had 47 years to produce results.
47.
But he's been all talk and no action, just like so many of the Democrats who've been making promises to the black voters for decades.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what's so key about this is number one, Georgia was stolen from Donald Trump towards the end, suspiciously. Number two, you have a Democratic representative from Georgia giving his support at a Republican National Convention to the president. Ladies and gentlemen, and he's a black man at that. Now, this is someone the media would always categorize as being a coon, correct? But this brother is well spoken. He spoke up for black people very well, and he even called it a slave plantation, which it always has been. He said absolutely nothing wrong. But does anyone listen to a brother like this? No. Because once again, if it's a black man saying it, he doesn't know what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So this is just more proof as to what I've always been saying, ladies and gentlemen. It is a plantation. Why else would you see this many black people celebrating a racist white man with racist quotables that you can look up? Everyone is so fixated on whether Trump is racist or not, but they can't outright prove he's been a racist president. Meanwhile, you can outright prove Joe Biden has contributed to 47 years of racist politics, and people go, but that part don't matter though. And that is the biggest problem we have here, ladies and gentlemen. But give me 1 second, because we have to show something else, Joe Biden, that came out of his mouth. We're just going to fry this motherfucker. Let's just keep it all the way funky, because there's a lot of talking points I have about this guy, but I want to make sure I get out all the right ones. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going through the videos of what I exactly want to play next, because I want to get this Joe Biden quote out. Give me 1 second. I mean, the amount of buck dancing. I'm over here scrolling through videos right now. Alright, is it that one? Alright, it's this one. I found it. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you all are here with me, by the way. I hope you all are safe and sound. I hope you all are of good health. That's what matters the most. I'm just trying to get y'all on code and on game.
We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
Y'all still gonna vote for Joe?
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Do you support gay marriage?
No, Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage. We do not support that.
This clip, a young girl catches Biden's attention. He then asks the 6-year-old girl if she's 17.
How old are you, 17? Oh, 6.
Face before her mother draws attention to the camera. Then strokes her hair and kisses her again.
Disgusting.
He then grabs on her face and hair again.
Now, this is some Pizzagate type stuff that's popping off at the end of that video, but understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is someone who denounced gay marriage when him and Barack Obama were running. Then they made the majority of their legislation about propping up the gay community and not the black community. They relied on hope as one of their quotes to get black people to jump on code to vote for Obama, and yet all they did was use Dreamers to help Latinos, or they use some other legislation to help gay folks. And mind you, this is someone who denounced gay shit. Now all of a sudden Black Lives Matter mixed with China is the main allies in helping him pull off one of the biggest coups ever. Ladies and gentlemen, that's crazy in itself. But then let's talk about another wrinkle in this. This man was racist towards Indian folks, just blatantly talking about how you need an Indian accent to go to a damn Dunkin' Donuts, and then he chooses Kamala Harris because she looks black, but because she's Indian. Soon as she gets presidential-elect, vice presidential-elect. As soon as all of a sudden all the media jumps on board with Biden being the new president, now all of a sudden Kamala immediately throws away her black card and says she has made history, the first Indian-American woman to become vice president. It doesn't even become about being black anymore. So once again, black people, what are y'all celebrating this weekend? I would love to know. The liberals are the main people trying to convince all of you that somehow 100% of the mail-in vote all came from a specific type of voter. Now, I'm willing to buy that to a degree, not 100%, but I'm willing to buy that to a degree because the liberal media were the ones pushing the fear-mongering towards COVID. But if you're willing to tell me that the 100% of the mail-in vote came from one specific side, but then this same side is willing to forego the threat of COVID altogether to celebrate an election out in public and risk getting sick all over again, risk putting the entire populace back into the same quarantine and lockdown, ladies and gentlemen, there's rigging at play here, and not just by the vote. They are purposely trying to create another lockdown here. And I think the majority of the people out and about celebrating, not all of them, because some of them are just bots and stupid, but I think a good portion of them were the same people with masks on their face destroying property when the protests first start. I think these are all Marxist sleeper cell groups, 100%. Because the way these people just flash mobbed Trump Tower in Chicago the other day, it was just... So because he lost an election, he should pack up his belongings, destroy a skyscraper in the city, and move to another city? There were people who said if Trump won the election in 2016, they would move away from America. They stayed here. No one forced them to leave. But now we have people trying to force Trump out when the election hasn't even been recounted yet. So these people are trying to forego the same constitutional rights they claimed Trump was against during his tenure. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all coming from a position of hypocrisy. It's all hypocrisy. And to me, someone who has started to become well more versed in the stuff that I do, the stuff that I read, the stuff that I research, for me to witness all of these dumb fucks literally just buying whatever the media tells them. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, the media can't even tell us who's the president. They can't do that. Someone else has to. But they figured out their way around that shit too. Now I want to show this because this shows we got black people all across the world cooning right now. Look at this shit.
Il est pas le seul ce soir en Washington.
I love a croissant. I love an omelette du fromage. Gastronomie et le petit déjeuner.
Now, first things first, ladies and gentlemen, this is all propaganda. Number one, that black dude right there, notice what he's wearing. He's wearing a Michigan hat, a Michigan Wolverines hat with no shirt on in France. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. 100% I'm not buying that. I think that was staged 100%. But once again, what are black people in other countries so happy about Trump not winning for? I don't understand. I'm seeing YouTubers, content creators, I'm seeing them celebrate Trump's L, and I'm trying to wrap my head around this. You're a creator. The left is trying to censor anyone's free speech, and you're celebrating the fact that they just won presidency so that they can put in more diplomacy and legislation which goes against the job that you are trying to make your entrepreneurial jurisdiction. So we've got people celebrating their own demise right now from a business owning standpoint because they want to just fit in. They look at public opinion and go, oh, well, everyone seems to be happy Biden won, so I'm happy Biden won. Ladies and gentlemen, if I was that spineless of a human being, y'all wouldn't even fuck with my channel. Let's keep it all the way funky here tonight. I am appalled by the amount of people who are acting like this victory does anything positive for their life. Black folks, black women specifically, because black men, we didn't really give this motherfucker the votes. Understand, Trump had over 20% of the black vote. That was one of the highest that any Republican candidate has ever pulled off. And you mean to tell me he loses by 5 million? I'm not buying that. But let's unpack this very slowly, ladies and gentlemen, because they think we are stupid. All right? I got more videos to play, don't worry. I got more videos to play, don't worry. It's going down right now, ladies and gentlemen. We got to showcase what this guy really thinks of us, because I think a lot of people are still stupid. They don't realize what this guy thinks of us, right? They're over here celebrating this victory. And see, I lost my train of thought, but I'm back to it. Black women, y'all voted for this guy, all based solely off the fact that Kamala was running with him for the most part, right? Y'all think getting rid of Trump does more for the next generation of black folks, but read the room. The next generation of black folks voted for Trump. So you went against what the next generation of black folks wanted because you thought you knew better. But the way y'all have chosen has put us down a slippery slope of having nothing. Nothing. So you have guaranteed the next 4 years we will be getting more nothing. And what makes it worse is we went through 8 years of Obama being president. Ladies and gentlemen, we dealt with more police brutality, more black deaths, more police, more anti-black propaganda in the media. We went through a lot of that. The majority of that was because our president happened to be liberal. That's what people don't understand. A liberal president makes more people want to commit violence towards black people in the street because the liberals blame us for why they win. They make it seem like, well, because of the black vote we won. That makes everyone hate black people and blame us for why they won, when in reality, it was rigged anyway, and really, we didn't really play a role in shit. But this trick bag exists. That way, more violence can be committed towards you, black women, your kids. Then you're crying in the street. Then they give you some settlement check to shut the fuck up and act like the police ain't that bad. Y'all take that money, wash, rinse, and repeat. Happens that way all the time. But people keep trying to equate the racial tension in this country to Trump. The racial tension was there before Trump was elected. It's going to be here well after he's gone. And when we get into another lockdown, when things get worse because y'all dumbasses that voted for Biden decided to celebrate it, you're not going to be able to blame Trump for that, but y'all will, because y'all will say, well, he's not out of office until January. It's still Trump's fault. It's still Trump's fault. Everything is Trump's fault. That is the action of the unaccountable that consistently blames
what you all know, but most people don't know.
Well, he ain't innocent.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Y'all hear that? Let me play that one more time. I think maybe I talked over the beginning of it. Let's play this one more time, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's play this one more time.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
You see that? He doesn't even think our community is diverse. He thinks we're all monolithic. Basically, what he said was all black folks look the same, all black folks act the same. We have no character depth to who we are as people. You know, that way of thinking does nothing but reinforces production's thought process in Big Brother. The way they keep selecting a black woman who's just heavily into the Bible. The way they keep selecting a black man who's don't know what the fuck he's doing, right? It's all to make us look monolithic, to make us look goofy, to make us look stupid. And Joe Biden believes in that same mantra. And yet, once again, there are black people celebrating his victory as if this motherfucker isn't more racist than Trump. This is why propaganda itself is very dangerous. Because if people really don't understand shit, if they don't understand how they're being played, then they will voluntarily sign up for their own concentration camp. And that's really the saddest part about all of this, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now that I've shown that video, ladies and gentlemen, shown Trump basically just shit on all of us by saying we're no different from Latin. I mean, we're so different from Latinos because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. They're so different from all of us, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, 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 woo. All right, well, let's get into some more talking right here. All right, next, I want to give a spotlight to a brother I found on Twitter. All these black individuals that are saying that hot shit, I started following them on Twitter. If I don't know their actual name, hopefully it's provided. But for the most part, ladies and gentlemen, I just want y'all to hear these people out because these are very intelligent young black people. And if they are this intelligent, it says a lot.
Hey guys, welcome to Trigger Nation. Listen, I just want to know, black people, what are you doing? Once again, y'all are being fooled, hoodwinked, and bamboozled, and because a black lady who's not even really actually black, she didn't identify as black till she ran for president, and all of a sudden wanted the black vote, and Joe Biden says you ain't black unless you vote for him, so now he gets somebody who you want to identify as black. All of a sudden you can't see how insulting that is to the black community. He wanted to get a woman of color just to try and gain the black vote. And this is a person who has done nothing but jail the most black people. She helped Joe Biden's agenda, then turned around and called Joe Biden a racist, then turned around and said that she believed all of his abusers. Now all of a sudden you accept that. Wake up, people.
And see, this brother said a whole bunch of valuable information right there. Kamala Harris called Joe Biden a racist. The minute she had an opportunity to run with him, all of a sudden, the man smells like sweet roses and dandelions. Where the fuck does that come from? Ladies and gentlemen, that would be like if I went out of my way to call Christmas Rousey a racist, but then the minute I have an opportunity to get an exclusive interview from her, all of a sudden, I walk back everything I've ever said about her and go, she's the nicest woman in the world. I was off my square back then. Ladies and gentlemen, you all would call me a sellout for prioritizing the money over character and moral compass, right? Kamala basically did this exact thing for power, and yet black women rewarded her for selling out by selling out themselves along with her. It's very important for me to point out that dichotomy there because a lot of people do not see that. Now, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, I only have 5 videos left, but this is all an assortment piece. This is my way of letting you know how stupid black people look in these streets right now, how this election is far from over, and at the end of the day, this is my way of just trying to help the mental health of people on the other side who may have voted for Trump, who may be feeling it, who may be going through a hard time right now because they truly feel like the world is celebrating some shit that is very demonic. And I know if you are a kind-hearted person, a good soul, I know that right now you're having an inner conflict right now. You know, something is wrong in the atmosphere, ladies and gentlemen. This weekend I don't know, man. My chakra, my frequency level, it's just been off the Richter scale, man. It just feels like something is building and something bad is coming down the pike. That's all I can really say right now, but that's how it feels if you ask me. Now, now I want to get into the other side of this. I showed you the French dude with the Michigan hat on who was celebrating this chump victory. He thought the shit was shits and giggles, right? All right, now let's get to the other side of this. Where motherfuckers got their Negro wake up call. now, now I'm aware that this could all be propaganda to a degree. This video could have happened before the election was over. This could be something that was planted to generate this type of conversation for the right to discuss. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I pretty much vetted this clip, and yes, this clip is recent. So let's get into it. Basically, what you all are about to see is a black man loses his phone at a Biden celebration party outside or something of some sort. And when these people refuse to help him find his phone, he lost it. Now let's check this out. You're asking about his phone, right?
They don't know where it was. See? Give space, please, guys. If you are not a part of this, please stay away. Boo, come on. The last thing we want to do is see a black man get arrested by the police. That's why we want to try again. What are you doing? What is wrong with him? We out here trying to show love, trying to turn up. Because black people just made history today, and you want to be fucking ignorant. You want to threaten the black women. Fuck you.
Now, the first thing I gotta point out here is, did you notice that sign that says socialists believe Black Lives Matter? Ladies and gentlemen, socialists don't believe any life matters. That's Marxism, number one, first and foremost. Number two, you notice how fast everyone turned on this black man and called him ignorant when he fought over the fact that someone stole his phone? Ladies and gentlemen, that black man got his nigga wake-up call. He's over here partying with these people, no shirt on. Let's go ahead and break that down. I guess you don't care about COVID at all, huh? I guess you're not worried about COVID getting into any of your sweat pores, huh? I guess COVID only goes through your nose. It can't possibly, stay stuck to your skin, and you can't possibly bring that somewhere with you. Okay, it makes it look stupid for several reasons there. But that's just the surface level of it. I want to replay this video because I think this video is hilarious. Listen, maybe I'm a bad person. I just think it's funny seeing a whole bunch of snitches and a whole bunch of sellouts fighting with each other over dumb shit. Because honestly, there's no honor among thieves. So this makes sense to me.
They don't know where it was. See? Give space, please, guys. If you are not a part of this, please stay away. Boo, come on. The last thing we want to do is see a black man get arrested by the police. That's why we want to try again. What are you doing? What is wrong with him? We out here trying to show love, trying to turn up. Because black people just made history today, and you want to be fucking ignorant. You want to threaten the black women. Fuck you.
Now, another thing I noticed, they said black people made history today and you want to fuck it up being ignorant. What history did black people make today? The only history I saw was the historic numbers that voted for Trump in terms of black people. Kamala's not black. These people are stupid. Here's another thing. Why is police even there? Didn't y'all want to defund the shit? Oh, here's another point, ladies and gentlemen. How stupid are these people? They were okay with defunding the police because Black Lives Matter said so, but Jim Crow Joe worked hand in hand with the police with the crime bill because of the war on drugs, which actually means war on black people if you understand what that actually meant back then. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, Snowfall breaks this down very well. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but understand, if you think Jim Crow Joe really is anti-police in and Jim Crow Kamala. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just keep it all the way funky tonight. Both of them are honorary police themselves. So isn't it hilarious that the same people who voted for these two are the same people that wanted police reform? How are you going to get reform when you just hired two people who, without a doubt, have locked up more black people than Trump has in his entire life? I guarantee you Kamala has done that more in 1 year of working in California than Trump has his entire life because she was a prosecutor. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. How can through one side of your mouth say defund the police, through another side of your mouth you have police at a celebration to protect people from themselves? You have a dude with no mask and no shirt on trying to be a peacemaker, peacekeeper, when he's spreading COVID. And they just hired two of the biggest white prosecutors, anti-black prosecutors imaginable, while saying this is an historic victory for black people. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't make this up. This is what stupidity looks like, y'all. And if you're cringing, if you cringed at all while watching that video of that black dude, and did you notice that dude before he threw them hands, he said, man, fuck that hoe. He said, where my phone? Man, your phone broke. Man, fuck that hoe. And he just started throwing hands. Now, I'm not laughing at the fact that this man may have harmed a woman. I'm not laughing at that, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm laughing at is the idea that this black dude really thought he belonged in the first place in this group. You never belonged. And you're clearly one of the lost ones if you're a straight black man there. I mean, I don't even know how you lost your phone in the first place, but I guess that's a story we'll never have answered. But I just find videos like that super funny, bro. You know? It's like motherfuckers motherfuckers couldn't wait to snake each other out, bro. They couldn't wait. You know, if y'all watch Naruto, the ending of Naruto, like right after they got rid of the final boss, when Sasuke just snaked Naruto and tried to kill him right after the final fight. That's what that looked like to me, coach. It looked like, all right, we got the right out the way. Now we can war amongst ourselves. Like, y'all are clowns, man. You'll never see people that support Donald Trump. You'll never see them that quick to turn on each other. You'll never see it. Say whatever you want. Trump united more people than any leftist president has in a long time. People don't want to admit that, though. People don't want to admit that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into another video. I want to provide this video because I thought this brother and sister, I thought they did a fantastic job of giving their perspective. This is going to be 2 minutes long, so it is going to be a little long. I'm not going to play it twice like that other video. But I just want to give every perspective imaginable because I think that's important.
Black people to give it their votes up unconditionally. And honestly, to be fair, that we have given up our votes unconditionally. Because Joe Biden, I mentioned earlier on the show how Joe Biden was polling worse than any other Democratic nominee ever, and with the black vote, he was floating anywhere between 75 to 80%. But people don't realize that Bill Clinton actually, surprisingly enough, in the modern era, had the lowest percent of the black vote. Bill Clinton in the last 30 years is the only Democratic nominee for president who got under 90%. Every other Democratic president got 90% of the black vote. So when you had over a generation of this happening, yeah, they got complacent and they knew that black people were going to vote for them regardless. That's why in the middle of a Black Lives Matter movement that is going on right now, they are mocking black people. The Democratic Party are mocking black people because our demand was defund the police. So they respond with, we should fund the police more.
Exactly.
So even if you one of the people that say, oh well, of course Joe Biden would never support defunding the police, he still can't even support legalizing marijuana. He can't even do that. He can't even do the absolute bare minimum.
That's the basis of his crime bill, though. It's the drug war. Yeah. So why would he go after that when that's like he spent his career? He built his career on going after black people for specifically using drugs so that he could build up the prison industrial complex. And then while people are marching in the streets, he's like, hey, give me that one black person who locked up more black people than anybody else and who also profits off of the prison industrial complex and who is the one Democratic senator that Steve Mnuchin donated to. Let me make her my VP. And again, I don't even think that he chose. I think that she was always going to be the VP because they wanted her as president. And when she had to drop out, they were like, all right, just sit down, sit tight. We'll make you VP.
And see, that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. It is highly suspicious right now how all of this went down. A lot of truth seekers believe in the theory that this could all be set up for Kamala Harris to become president after Joe Biden either dies or steps down, or is viewed to be incompetent for the job. And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, if he doesn't die or step down and is viewed to be incompetent by the Senate or the House and he is impeached of some sort, I don't know. Understand the same people who wanted him to win this election will be the same ones a year from now acting like he's incompetent. He wouldn't have gotten that much more incompetent in 12 months. He's just as incompetent as he will be later as he is now. But they wanted Trump out that bad that they were willing to let a real incompetent man take his seat while they're claiming Trump is the incompetent one. But you could never convince that many people he was that incompetent. So how are they going to go about getting Joe out of office to allow Kamala to usurp him? And then when that happens, who will be vice president? Shout outs to one of my Patreon members. I believe Almanetter is the name. Put me on game with a unique theory about how people believe Hillary Clinton might be handpicked by Kamala Harris to be her vice president. And if that doesn't work, if all else fails, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, will be allowed to become the vice president. They pretty much want to turn politics into a feminist think piece, ladies and gentlemen. And because black women are so emotional, women in general are so emotional, they will be willing to smoke a bag of a ticket with 2 women on it. They will be willing to support that shit. But that is when I believe you'll see white men, black men, men of all cultures come together more. And I think this is why they can't really afford to get rid of Biden anytime soon. They're going to at least have to have him serve at least half of that term. They're going to at least have to have that to legitimize the vote itself, to legitimize the election itself. If they get rid of that guy within a year, come on now. But these two, well, really it's 4 people, but you only saw 2 faces. These 4 people spoke up a lot of fantastic points, which I've already broken down. But at the end of the day, anyone who benefits immensely from the war on drugs, who is part of the 1994 crime bill, that person just in no way, shape, or form will do what you want to be done with defunding the police. In fact, like they mentioned, all they have been doing to be a solution in defunding it has been funding it with more money. So all they're doing is paying cops for killing unarmed black people. And these are the same people black people are celebrating this weekend for winning. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep knocking this point home, because I'm really, look, I'm not shocked people are this stupid. I'm just shocked they're stupid enough to risk COVID after crying the most about COVID, after getting rid of Trump over COVID, and then to risk getting COVID, celebrating Trump's demise. It is the most idiotic shit. And it just shows us all COVID was never the problem. That was just an excuse. And that was a tool used to get him out of office because they couldn't get him out of office just playing politics. They had to play dirty pool. And that's just what it is. Sometimes people got to settle for those type of some people got to settle that way to win because they're not capable of beating you legit, Next, ladies and gentlemen, to really further clown the black community for celebrating this L that they will call a victory, I want to show these kids in Haiti real quick in this video. Now, Conan O'Brien visited Haiti. If you don't know what's going on in Haiti, allegedly, Hillary Clinton was essentially trying to convince the people of Haiti to allow her to, once again, allegedly, traffic some kids from Haiti to America, yada, yada, yada. This is a story you can look up for yourself. Basically, these kids are smarter than grown black adults in America. Listen to what these kids say to Conan O'Brien, who tried to play the white savior complex with these kids. This was so important, and this is why I'm showing this video to y'all.
The Americans need to help Haiti put things back. Is that right? I'm not going to take your stuff. I'm not going to take your stuff. say something? I think you have. This is your next president, right?
She
is the president. She is the next president. No, she is not wrong that America in history has not been good to Haiti, but there's still a chance for America to be better to Haiti, I think.
Well, Conan O'Brien, being better to Haiti is really setting a low bar when you have tried to enslave the people of Haiti. When the people of Haiti had to whack, and I'm glad that this all comes full circle, the people of Haiti had to get rid of all of their coons. They had to kill all of them off before the rebellion could work. And I'd argue black people in America have the same issue. We won't get anything done tangibly because we'll always have a majority of people listening to whatever white mommy and white daddy says to them. Now, granted, I believe that there are white people on both sides of the coin who are good people. I believe there are people of all shades and colors. There are bad people on both sides of the coin. But understand, Conan O'Brien is one of them rich, high-end, upper-class white dudes who has a comedy show on TBS. TBS is ran underneath the USA NBC Universal umbrella. Okay, understand that trick bag that's going on. Well, actually, no. TBS is with CBS. Yeah. Because they do the March Madness stuff. So TBS, CBS, True TV, USA, that type of stuff. TNT. I don't know if USA counts. But yeah, I think all of that is under the same umbrella. Understand, this guy has already been bought. I've already broken down in my last video, CBS is a very liberal-based company, even though the majority of their content is very conservative. And based off how they conduct themselves when it comes to Big Brother and Survivor, we know that very well. But understand, for this rich comedian, Conan O'Brien, in that van, understand, if you didn't know who Conan O'Brien was, if that was a total stranger, you would think he was trying to abduct some kids in that van, wouldn't you? Like, why is he riding around in that van? Van looks very mysterious. If you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, about a half of a decade ago, maybe a decade ago, give or take, there was this insane group of clowns that would abduct kids in the Chicagoland area. I'll never forget it. And they were in a van very similar to that one. So for this white man to go up to these kids and think he can play this white savior game as if he's in Africa or some shit. You know how they play it in Africa. Make it seem like, oh, we're there to give you all something and do a photo op to prove I'm a good person. We see it all the time. He basically was trying to get his quota done. And these black kids weren't going. Now, here's my thing. How are these black kids this smart to understand the thought process behind asking for tangibles before you give people anything? How are these kids smart enough to realize that this white man is a devil in sheep's clothing? How are they a wolf in sheep's clothing? How are they that smart to immediately size him up and know what his game is? But we have grown black folks in America, the land of the free, who can't see a con artist dead in their face. It's because we are so focused with dumb shit in this country. These people ain't got much, so they ain't got no choice but to see the truth, because the truth has been hard hitting. When it comes to us, we prefer if someone tells us a lie over the truth because psychologically we're that fragile as a people. It's sad. But for me to see these kids truly show out for their ancestors, to not trust Conan O'Brien and all the bullshit he was trying to... For that grown black man to laugh it off, that let me know the black man taught them kids well, and I salute that brother. You know. Real talk. I salute that brother. Because he's clearly looking out for those kids' best interests. Otherwise, those kids wouldn't even think that way. Let's just keep it all the way funky out here. So next, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into some history before I end cap this by shitting on Black Lives Matter one more time. Let's get into some history. Now I want to showcase and back up what I tried to tell you all about the original Civil War, because understand what they are trying to do. They are trying to preempt a civil war here with the majority of this propaganda that's quite divisive. They're making the people who actually do believe in the Constitution, they're making us feel like we're unconstitutional for trying to hold others to that right. And at the end of the day, they just want discontent. They just want a fissure. That's all they want. Because if they can divide and conquer, There's no way we can come back from this deficit. Now, listen to this video, ladies and gentlemen. This is from a nice, very intelligent sister. These are the type of black women I would wife personally because they know their shit so well they don't have to read it from a page. Here we go.
Simple question. Should the United States extend slavery to the Western territories? This issue broke the party into two groups: the Southern Democrats who wanted to expand slavery and the Northern Democrats who said the states should decide. That led each side to offer their own candidate in the 1860 presidential election, which ultimately split their vote and allowed Abraham Lincoln, the candidate of the recently formed Republican Party, to win. And these first Republicans, they were against slavery.
Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people don't know that Abraham Lincoln only became president because the Dems were fighting amongst themselves over who owned slaves and who didn't. That split the vote amongst the North and the South, allowing the Republicans to win, which led to the Emancipation Proclamation. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If these people weren't so full of themselves, in order to force a vote split because the Southerners refused to get rid of slavery, they would have won that election. Abraham Lincoln would have never won that election. Abraham Lincoln would have never got assassinated. That's the truth. But once again, people hold up Abraham Lincoln to this high standard while omitting the fact that he was Republican, while acting like every Republican is a racist, when slave masters created the Democratic Party. Ladies and gentlemen, this is hilarious to me, man. The semantics gymnastics. And for all of these people to act like they are experts on something they have done no research on in their entire life, all because they have a whole bunch of friends and family that want to go a certain route with it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am willing to go against my own family if I know that they're out of pocket. Because I'm always someone who's trying to do what's right. And I personally believe I did what was right by not voting. I feel like if you gave Biden a vote, you did what was wrong. I'm not saying if you gave Trump a vote, you did what was right. I think at the end of the day, choosing someone and actually believing that they are less racist with more proof of them being racist, I believe that is one of the dumbest decisions a human being could ever make. And that's just what it is, ladies and gentlemen. So Biden was against the legalization of marijuana, but that shit's already been legalized before he even got into office. So that's another thing he won't be able to affect. But here's the thing. If Republicans have the House and the Senate, Biden can't even do shit with his presidency in the first place. And that's why they're trying to rig the House and Senate to Dems again to make it 50-50. They're trying to figure out a way, ladies and gentlemen, for Biden to have his way because they know that the CCP, they know the CFR is running this man's impending presidential tenure. And that's if he gets it, because I still believe Trump has a high percentage chance of winning this deal with a recount and some legislation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the final video. This video will be the final nail in Black Lives Matter's coffin. And I'm going to get out of your hair after this. I hope you enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't been hiding or nothing. It's just that at the end of the day, I just don't like a whole bunch of people lying to my face over and over again. And quite frankly, that's what's happening to the media right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Fox News is losing the majority of their fan base. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know this, Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News and CNN, meaning they are organized opposition. Because he owns both of them, there's clearly a conflict of interest here. And what people are starting to notice is, at the start of this election process, Fox News has slowly but surely started to turn their back on Trump. A lot of people believe that Republicans, and this is what I'm hearing from actually family members who are liberal, they're telling me that they believe that Trump lost the popular vote because Republicans don't like him. But in order for a liberal to believe that Republicans don't like Trump, is for them to all of a sudden selectively believe what Republicans say when it benefits them in the moment. This lets me know that the majority of people are willing to believe anything if it gaslights or confirms their own confirmation biases. And here's the thing. Why would Republicans trust Biden and Harris more than Trump when Trump really has done nothing anti-Republican establishment? For anyone to buy that, that is just someone trying to ignore the hard-hitting mathematics that Trump has had a record amount of Latinos and black voters on his side, meaning systemically, it is damn near impossible for him to be blown out in an election. But let's get into why Black Lives Matter ain't shit.
I think that we actually do have an ideological frame. We are are trained Marxists. This could be a police cruiser, Tom, that you mentioned that is burning right now.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
Flames rip through the lower level of St. John's Church.
And as you can see, there's definitely a fire here.
Make sure that police departments are defunded.
We need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
The driver hit 2 officers.
We have an incredible opportunity to fundamentally transform our country.
The first statue that we came across was Ulysses Grant. It was toppled. It was lying in the pathway.
Look what you did to my store. No. These people are tearing up our livelihood.
We are trained Marxists.
So you have quotes of someone who helped found the Black Lives Matter organization admitting to be a trained Marxist. So that lets you know everything you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. On top of that, what the media doesn't show you is a lot of these businesses being destroyed are black businesses. A lot of the neighborhoods they are being destroyed in are black neighborhoods. These people ain't going to no high-end white neighborhood destroying shit. Even when the protests first kicked off, Beverly Hills wasn't torn to shreds as fast as Compton was or something like that. You feel what I'm saying? I remember in Chicago not too long ago, there was a flash mob of protesters who went downtown to the Magnificent Mile and just started destroying shit. They had masks on, they were heavily armed, they just started destroying shit. And they allowed people to escape with their lives safely, but that lets you know that that was a planned hit. That lets you know that these are sleeper cells, man. You know? And see, that's the thing. When this country goes to hell, okay, the same people that were protesting then are the same people who are outside celebrating now, and they're going to turn on everyone. Because it's going to get to a point where the same people who voted for these people are going to realize, hey, we got played. We're going to start demanding stuff. By then, it's going to be too late. And then that's when martial law will be in effect. The same thing Trump wanted to do, you're going to see Biden do, but he's going to do it even worse because you're not going to see it coming from him. So the same way I said the sneaky racist is worse than the out front racist, I stand by that. But here's the funniest part about this. In this situation, I think Trump is more of the sneaky racist, and I think Biden's more of the outright racist. But because liberals would like the narrative to be that Biden is not really racist at all, I guess we have to call him the sneakier one by the majority of public opinion. And with that said, he is by far the more dangerous one. And that's really what we have to work with, ladies and gentlemen. I tried to make this video entertaining. The majority of this video was just, to help y'all kill some time. If you're at work or something and you need something to listen to, something like that. Hopefully this video can get you through your day tomorrow or today, whichever day you decide to listen to this. But those are my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. This fight is far from over. The people who celebrate too early are going to be the same people that start rioting and protesting again when Trump, I believe, wins it back. And that's the thing. They're pulling a yo-yo tactic on people. Right now, they're trying to make Trump supporters feel angry and feel pissed off because everyone is celebrating in their anger and their failure to a certain extent. This is going to make them more likely to rub it in even more if they win after a recount, which will do nothing but make the liberals more butthurt because they were butthurt for 4 years over virtually the same thing. If they get put through the same version of PTSD that they fixated, which was a mirage in their imaginations initially the first time because the Russian shit wasn't true. But let's just say these people feel like they're going through a deja vu scenario. They're going to lose it, and they're going to be the ones to send this world to flames, send this country into flames. That's just the truth. Right now, Biden is the confirmed winner, but do you see any violence? Remember all of the reports about the Trump, they said there was this Trump brigade or these cars that were all pro-Trump, they were harassing people. Where did those cars go? They just disappeared? All of a sudden, you mean to tell me there's no Trump supporter that's willing to commit violence over what just happened? The media would love to run with those narratives if they were true, but there hasn't been any cases of violence because those people are more logical than emotional. That's the truth, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, do we even see anything about COVID on TV anymore? Now, Miss Mary Sims, she'll know this because she lives in Chicago. How many times have we seen that dyke-ass mayor with that white dude doing hand signals and shit, all right? And then that black Latino woman follow up the governor, Prisker, and then say some shit about COVID. Ladies and gentlemen, we ain't seeing much of that shit no more. Now, to be fair, it's the weekend, so we wasn't gonna see much of that shit. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost as if COVID don't even matter no more because Biden won, which tells you COVID was a weapon used to help him win. Okay? And that's the thing. If you truly went against Trump because you cared so much about COVID, you should have been the person to vote in person at those polls over doing mail in votes. This entire election is put into question because of the mail in voting. Here's my thing. Here's my request. Since all of y'all have the balls to be out in public and not give a fuck about COVID, let's do this election all over again. Force everyone to not do mail in votes, do them all in person, and let's see if y'all really stand by the vote y'all had. Because something tells me if you force people to go in person to do these votes, the votes are going to look a lot different because they're not going to be able to rig it with mail-in votes that were fraudulent. And that right now is the huge talking point. But once again, Democrats won't go for that because they believe they've already won. But if you have nothing to hide, you should have no reason with this stipulation because you should believe you will win just the same. But I think they know, based off how they reacted to this win, if they were to do a revote and make it all personal and public votes, they know they would get dog walked. I think they know that. And that's why they did the mail-in way. And I showed you all the South Park video of the dude hiding all of those ballots and keeping them in the room somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things are true that are in jest. And I believe South Park knew what was coming down the pike a long time ago. Understand, that was the main show criticizing China the hardest. So anyone who criticizes China, they are one of the most reputable organizations in the world right now because in my opinion they're the most courageous. They're not punked into being a total pussy. And at the end of the day, say whatever you want, but the Hunter Biden information at this point it's irrefutable. Download the G News app if you want to learn more, ladies and gentlemen. But that is the amount of information I'm going to leave you all with. This was just a quick little election update. So I would like to hear your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think Biden has this locked in? Do you think Trump can pull off one of the greatest 3-1 comebacks in American election history, Coach? Do you think this is possible? To the people who voted for Trump, how are you feeling? I hope you keep your head up. I hope your mental health is in a good place. I hope you're getting some sunlight, and I hope you're not fixating too hard on social media right now, because really it's depressing the amount of people that are basically signed a contract. They basically signed their soul away. It's sad how many people did this voluntarily and that are proud of doing it, you know. And I can't drive this point enough, man. If Biden is the guy behind the crime bill, if you want to defund the police, what is your thought process going to be towards Biden and Harris when they inevitably side with the police against your dumb black ass? That's the question I'm going to leave y'all with. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed another RBR Politics rant. This one went an hour. I'm getting better at these things, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a work in progress just like every American. I wish all the best for every single one of you who have watched this video, and I wish for you a very prosperous winter time. Right now we're getting some weather I never expected, you never expected, and that's why I keep trying to tell y'all to go out there, get some sunlight, and enjoy yourselves, because we're in for a dark winter. Symbolism will be their downfall, and right now it may feel like that you're holding the L because all these people are celebrating a victory that hasn't been confirmed yet. But understand, ladies and gentlemen, anything can change at the drop of a dime. So the important thing to do is to stay even keel. Do not give too much of your emotions one way or another towards either side. Stay neutral and protect your energy. Protect your chakra. Protect your frequency level. As long as you protect that, these people have no control over you. And that is key. And that is why y'all never really heard me lose my mind in this video, right? I'm very monotone, but I'm not monolithic because every black person is gifted and we are all different. Oh, I just rhymed. I ain't got nothing to drink, but I'm going to leave y'all with that. Until next time.